We all have a moral duty to the previous generations. No one invented the fate of political repression's victims. This is a cruel reality. It has gone back, but it has not become less cruel. Nursultan Nazarbayev. From the very first days of independence, one of the main tasks for our state is to restore historical justice, to return the bright name to the thousands of innocently convicted Kazakhstanis, political repression's victims of the 20th and 50s of the 20th century. The policy of Elbасы Nursultan Nazarbayev focused on the identification and disclosure of the past tragic era truth. Domestic scientists were given the opportunity to turn the archival materials, the analyses, as a result of which there was a whole generation of historians who devoted their works to difficult topics of political repression, deportation, famine of the 1930s. Academician Manash Kozabayev became the pioneer of this movement. Thanks to consistent state policy, there were few white spots in Kazakhstan's history. On April 14, 1993, the Law of Rehabilitation of Mass Political Repression's Victims was published. Since 1997, the year of National Accord and Remembrance of Political Repression's Victims, 23rd May was become Day of Remembrance of Victims of Political Repressions. On the eve of this day, Nursultan Nazarbayev addressed the people on television and radio with the following words: Dear Kazakhstanis, today, on the day of remembrance of the victims of political repressions, we see with the particular clarity the history's steep zigzags, from which of all us must draw the right conclusions, choose the only correct line of behavior for ourselves. We should do everything in our power so that the terrible past does not happen again. In 2001, the South Kazakhstan Regional Museum of Victims of Political Repressions was opened in Shymkent. 1 year later, the Museum of Remembrance of Victims of Political Repressions in Dolinka village was established in Karaganda region. Algiers, Akmola camp for wives of traitors to motherland. This place of sorrow and no healing wounds will forever remain in people's memory. In 2007, a museum and memorial complex of victims of political repressions and totalitarianism was opened on the land of notorious camp in Akmola village. On 31st May 2012, a monumental complex dedicated to the memory of the victims of the Soviet famine of 1932-33 was opened in Kazakhstan's capital. Annual events are held in the cities and villages of our country. Many families bitterly recall those who died in the dangers on NKVD, the People's Commissariat for Internal Affairs, and the camps from the brutal torture, from hunger during the years of collectivization, who forever left their homeland, saving their children. Extensive work on restoration and preservation of historical memory, which brought together historians, artists, museum workers and non-indifferent people, in many ways took place thanks to the initiative and support of Elbасы Nursultan Nazarbayev. As a result of Stalinism criminal policy, which led to several waves of mass famine, the number of Kazakhstanis in the 1930s decreased by 40%. There were 11 Gulag camps in Kazakhstan: Karlak, Algiers, Дальний, Степной, Песчаный, Kamyshlak, Aktubinsk, Jizkazganlak, Petropavlovsk, Kingir, and Uskemnagorsk camps. Between the 1920s and 50s, 103,000 people were convicted on political grounds. More than 25,000 were shot in Kazakhstan. Алихан Бакейханов, Ахмет Байтурсунов, Шакарим Кудайбердиев, Тор Рускулов, Мухамеджан Тунышбаев, Жусупек Аймаутов, Сакен Сейфулин, Макжан Жумабаев, Беймбет Майлин, Маржакып Дулатов, Ильяс Жансугуров, Алимхан Ермеков, Санжар Асфендияров, Халил Габбасов, Жакып Акпаев, Абдрахман Байгельдин, Абдуллах Уразбакиев, Ураз Жандосов, Жанкаш Даус Мухамбетов, Магазим Асанчи, Khalil Dosmuhamedov, and many others. Outstanding sons of Kazakh people, innocently convicted, killed in the millstone of repression. This tragedy affected almost 3 million people. Many thousand people's fates have been crippled by mass deportation. about 800,000 Germans, about 100,000 Koreans, 102,000 Poles, 507,000 representatives of North Caucasus, Ingush, Chechens, Karachay, Balkars, Meskhetian Turks were deported to Kazakhstan in different years. Latvians, Lithuanians, Estonians, Kurds, Armenians, Kalmyks, Crimean Tatars, Pontic Greeks, Bulgarians and Gypsies were also deported. The memory of the ordeal that millions of people had to go through is still alive and today unites the multinational people of Kazakhstan. On this day, it is important to remember the words of Elbасы Nursultan Nazarbayev, which he said for the first time opening this memorial day. Let us issue each other and future generations in the name of Stalinism victims that this will not happen again in our land. Let's get into the understanding that is the policy of national harmony, the rule of the law, and political stability that are the main condition for freedom and democracy triumph, the basis of the revival of the country and ensuring a decent living standard for the citizens of the Republic of Kazakhstan.